Meeting for the City Commission for Tuesday, September 10th, 2025 will come to order. Please join me in silencing your cell phones. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perrine. Here. Commissioner McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Ashley.
Here.
Vice Mayor Martin.
Here.
Mayor Cleveland.
Here.
Thank you.
This is a meeting about budgets, and both the Utility Commission, NSB Utilities, the proper name, and City of New Smyrna Beach. So if there's any citizen who has a topic they'd like to speak on relating to budget issues pertaining to the city, please approach the podium and you'll be heard for 3 minutes. Seeing none.
Quick. You snooze, you lose.
Mr. Romeo.
Mr. Mayor, Jesse Romero, 708 South Cooper Street. When I came to us before you last time, I asked about Detweiler, the court at Detweiler there. I'm here to tell you that we're now 100 strong that play out there, that I've gathered numbers from there and names from. So I'm requesting tonight, if you can find, we're finding money somehow, $50,000 divided between Public Works, Leisure Services, to come up with a plan to how do we do and finally get the courts done properly. It's supposed to be. The plan includes tennis involved too. It doesn't exclude tennis. I spoke to the tennis club and they agree with it. They want to play there. They like the idea. They want to see it get done too. So it's not going to exclude tennis. We coexist, believe it or not. Nice. Tennis players and pickleball players there. So the idea is that if in 2026 you authorize Director Ray and Director Salazar to come up with a plan for how to fix the course and make it a crown jewel of Beachside there, in 2027, 2028, we can allocate for the funding for that purpose there, the time there. So that's why I come to you before you tonight to hopefully to ask you to please allocate those fundings to Mr. Salazar and Mr. Ray so they can come in and say, this is what we can do. And in 2026, they can allocate, start planning for funding that service there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, public participation is now closed. We'll now conduct a public hearing to consider the adoption of Ordinance 6225, which, if adopted upon a second reading and a public hearing, would approve the proposed annual budget for the NSB Utilities for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. Madam City Attorney, if you would, read 6225 for the first time by title only, please.
Ordinance number 6225, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the Utilities Commission, City of New Smyrna Beach for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading public hearing will be September 23rd, 2025.
And now it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Ephraim Chavez, the General Manager and CEO of NSB Utilities, for his report. Welcome, Ephraim. Glad to see you.
Welcome. Good to see you. So just tonight, wanted to give you a quick update on this and appreciate your time. So just to give you an overall, our 26, we do a 10-year budget every year. That's for capital. On the O&M side, we do it for 5 years. But the key guidelines for us are the vision, mission, values, drive how we operate to serve our customers and the community for today and the future. The revenue, so typical income statement view, balance sheet. The revenue projection was based on historical and then projected customer usage for both electric and water and leveraging the existing approved customer rates. So there was no increase in rates in this budget turn, just as we're in the middle of and proposing current recommendations from the rate study. For the operations and maintenance budget of $74.8 million, what we do is the finance team, we promote a challenge process with each director and their staff, so the major divisions, electric, water, HR, and the support functions, to ensure that we have appropriate, effective, cost-effective O&M budgets. So that challenge process reviews headcount, year-over-year cost trends, cost per unit, and a bottoms-up cost estimate approach. So we do not do anything around last year plus X%. So particularly in the water, wastewater processes in those plants, those are heavily dependent on chemicals. So we also look at those for improvement efficiencies to potentially lower cost. And some of the capital improvements that we have in the 10-year plan factor in some of that because we're upgrading and providing the current technology, which has savings in the expense side. So next, on the 10-year capital improvement plan, we're at about almost $274 million. So that's consistent with the long-term strategy and a risk prioritization as it relates to these projects' criticality to the infrastructure. One of the things that's a key tenet of our 10-year plan is the modernization program. That modernization program was presented and adopted by the commission back in 2020. So we looked at each of the businesses, electric and water, to see what is best in class, best practices for a utility our size and for the customers we serve. And we looked at that with that 10 years in mind. So each of these projects every year aligns with that, and we continually look at that every year. Some of the larger projects to focus on that are in that 10-year plan, and really the ones shown below are within the next 4 years for completion. So the Glencoe Water Treatment Pellet Softening Plant, that process provides a more efficient, environmentally friendly method of producing the potable water. It also prolongs the implementation of the more expensive, less environmentally friendly reverse osmosis system. The current existing process of a lime softening it's in essence a very old, it's an older process. Back in the early 1920s, I want to say this was done, and it was pretty prevalent at the time. But we're at the point now where that plant is at the end of its useful life, so it's over 50 years old. So based on the alternatives that were examined, the pellet softening was the most cost-effective. In addition to the cost-effectiveness of this treatment, it provides additional water treatment capacity, which then would cover the future growth that we have over the next 10 to 15 years. The next one, $31 million transmission loop project. So that is a new high-voltage electrical transmission line connecting two of our substations, Airport and Field Street. So that would provide the ability for us to transfer that load between the substations in case of a substation outage or a line failure. Currently, the way that Airport and Field Street substations are fed, it's called radially, which means there's a single line. A single line from Smyrna substation over there behind Walmart to both Airport and Field Street. So a few years ago, we had a blue heron flew into the transmission line on Field Street. When we lost that substation, we lost about 2/3 of our customers in one shot and from that event. So ideally, from a best-in-class and a reliability redundancy standpoint, this would connect those substations to provide that backup in case of this kind of event, either a substation failure or a line failure. The next one, subaqueous cable replacement project. So currently we have 2 of 4 cables at Cross Intercoastal that services beachside of about 13,000 customers. That cable's reached the end of its useful life. So this one is one where we would replace 2 of those cables, which is north of the South Causeway. This is one where this is a needed, and I believe those cables are about 36 years old. So they've reached their end of life, and they're actually sitting on top of the bed, the riverbed. So this is one we definitely want to, all of these projects are in the long-term modernization. And the last one is really just more of, it's not a big number, but we have about $4.6 million in interagency projects. Those are projects we work with state, county, and the city of New Smyrna Beach. So these projects have implications for us. We work with the respective agencies to complete these. For example, Washington Streetscape, the I-95 Pioneer Interchange. So that's just to give you a very high level around our budget overall. So on the income statement side, so as you know, we have $74.8 million. We are, as every business in town and across the country, cost structure pre-COVID versus post-COVID. So we've been dealing with the inflationary impacts that we've encountered, chemicals, maintenance, every major line item to operate our business, we've encountered that. So that's what we're dealing with now, and that's what's been forecasted and budgeted. And our budgets every year take a look at what current costs we're encountering. So just high level, salaries and benefits. We have a stable workforce of 180 that we budget for, but as per our governance model, we're required every 3 years to bring in an independent consultant to review our salaries, benefits, to ensure that we're competitive in the Central Florida region to attract and retain that talent. So overall, we made some adjustments to our compensation, but it was determined that our benefits and compensation is competitive and a win for employees. In addition, we completed the contract renewal with our IBEW union, and that was recently approved in August, and the 180. Next, just looking at the overall O&M, purchase power and other costs. Overall, higher purchase power, electric and water operations, maintenance, increased insurance, particularly with the hurricanes and such, and liability, increased telecom, IT, and facilities-related costs, and then, of course, the increased compensation and employee benefits. The purchase power is going up a good amount, and that is just primarily based on the natural gas futures forward curves, but we take that into consideration, and that's how we build our budgets. And of course, as we provide monthly updates to our commission, we will report out our performance. If it's better, a good thing, but we will report out our overall and how we do in total. So that's next one, $32.4 million is purchase power. That is almost $3 million higher than the 25 budget, and that is driven by those natural gas prices. So as macroeconomic environment, economic events occur, that does have an impact pretty readily on our budgets. Okay. Capital. So this is our fiscal year 26 capital, and electric projects, transmission loop, South Causeway, subaqueous, distribution overhead hardening. So for example, on the overhead hardening, we upgraded inlet shores because we had determined that that's an area that we needed to really improve. We replaced poles and upgraded the wire in that community just based on the metrics that we maintain. Interagency, Washington Streetscape, I-95. The water projects, $20.5 million, pellet softening, water main replacement on the Publix on mainland. And then, of course, there's the implication of the interagency. Reclaimed, we're constantly doing water reclamation, so improvements. One of these items, this screw press, in essence, would reduce the liquids in our wastewater. So that's actually a project that's started and near completion. AMI, we'll finish up the AMI implementation of meters. So approximately 30,000 electric meters. We have almost 4,000 installed through current to date. And then annual projects, normal preventative and maintenance, reactive capital work, pole replacements, vehicles, equipment, and meter installations. So, okay. I'll pause there for a second. Any questions on our...
Commissioner McGurk.
Thank you. Efren, you're going through, that probably started in 2020, a significant overhaul of the infrastructure. And if I understand what you're saying, you're talking about backup power. Usually when something goes down in the city, usually when I speak to you, it's reflected on something that happened out west with a major line. If I understood you correctly, what you're saying is you're creating a system where if one doesn't work, there's a backup that's going to do an end around to keep power on here in the city proper.
Correct. So that airport and Field Street substations, that's huge. So for example, and I'll bring up another, this was probably that's the Blue Heron incident that happened 3 years ago. So we were out for several hours because I could not transfer all that customer energy load. I didn't have another way to move it around.
So you guys were faced with, when you came in, decades of neglect on the infrastructure. By what year can you tell me that we can pretty much expect all that infrastructure improvements to have occurred? And I ask, obviously, because we've had rate increases. We're going to continue to have rate increases just on the infrastructure. So when someone asks me, when are we going to be good to go? What approximately is that year that you think?
So that's a really telling comment. That right now, these projects, which these are the big heavy hitters, the 42 million, the 31, these three alone, our plan is to get them targeted to be complete starting now through 29 and 30. So typically within the next 5 years. That's our plan.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
Just a FYI, or curious question. I've seen in the past the percentage of power that we use that's generated by solar, and so I know a lot of our constituents are interested in that. Would you share with that? Do you know?
So that's a really good observation. So primarily, 70% of our power is provided by FPL, the generation side.
Mm-hmm.
That 70%, within that, we have 23 megawatts of solar directly from FPL. We additionally accounted, or actually have a contract for another 5 megawatts through the Rice Creek facility, which is under FMPA, the Florida Municipal Power Association. So those are the two biggest pieces.
How many megawatts do we use?
We use on a given month in the summer 110 megawatts on a peak.
So would it be fair to say 25%, give or take?
Rough numbers without,
Well, okay.
depending on now, the difference with solar is, as you know, it's available only when,
Yeah, right.
So, but that's a rough estimate, yes.
Yeah, so it's a good statement. How's
It
that?
is. We're always looking at what is the most economical, most cost-effective for our residents, meaning best price. So.
And this is a curiosity question also. We hear other towns, cities, areas that detect the presence of certain diseases or certain drug loads in the wastewater, and I don't know if we have a mechanism to do that.
So I'd have to touch base with our wastewater folks.
Okay.
I'd have to get back to you.
As I said, it's a just curious question. Thanks, Ethan.
No problem. Thanks.
Commissioner Perrine.
My questions are items that we need to follow up on from our past joint workshops that were capital projects that I'm not seeing on here, so maybe you got more, but...
Oh, no, there's more detail. This is just the highlights of
Okay.
what's in this 10-year capital plan.
The two that I'm mainly concerned about are, one was the joint effort we had with the septic to sewer projects.
Oh, that's a good one. So that's a very good comment. So the way that we looked at this, and the reason why it's not highlighted, because that project, the Silver Sands, that's our responsibility. Based on the current grants that we received for about those 500 and some residences, I will say it's mainly with the funds that we've received, the cost of that is covered. Even most of it is covered. I cannot guarantee that until we get the final estimates in a couple of years, but it's mostly covered by grants for that Silver Sands area.
So we had several targeted, though, one right after another in priority ranking.
So the ones that, from what I remember correctly from that study, were Silver Sands and Aqua Gulf. Those were the two highest. Silver Sands we took on, and I believe the city has took on Aqua Gulf, because I believe there was a survey to the residents in that
And when
section.
will those be completed?
I'm not certain on the Aqua Gulf.
So-
We have responsibility on the Silver Sands.
But those will get included in this when you know an update, or why aren't they included in this?
No,
This
they're
is
not
important to
included
me.
in this capital. They're not included in this capital plan or under our responsibility for the Aqua Gulf. Silver Sands, we would report out on.
The second one that is near and dear to my heart is getting you guys off of Canal Street so we can have that parking. We've got a parking guy out there. I hope you've met with him. We met and had all those studies done, and that would free up a lot, and your building is still closed, and I don't understand that.
So as far as right now, we're going to get back with our commission as far as that strategy. In the long-term strategic planning, we need to figure that out. We all need to get aligned on it because, yes, we just need to get an alignment on it. My team and I will support whatever the commission decides as it relates to that. There is a substantial, just based on the work that we've done so far, there is a substantial cost right now with not readily identifiable offsets that's to cover that cost.
So how long ago was it that we had that joint meeting? Has it been 2 years already?
A couple of years.
What's the holdback on this?
Sorry.
The Fishkind report was a year ago? 2 years
Yes,
ago?
so that approach was presented as a developer-led, in essence. It's rough numbers, $110 million investment by us, but then that would be we would be, for lack of a better word, de facto a developer of that property. We would then develop certain frontage to then sell back to certain, which if legally, that approach netted the least amount outlay for the commission or for us as a utility, but we would definitely need to determine the legal implications and the like. That's really, as a commission, as a utility, can I take that on, that development as a developer?
Are you going to put that out for RFP?
We would, before we put anything out for an RFP, we'd have to figure out the legal ramifications. Are we as a utility allowed to do that? We need a unanimous vote on whatever approach is done from our commission, and then a supermajority from the city. So
What's your time frame on that? Since it's already been 2 years, you guys move slower than we do.
we would need to get back to the commission, and that's my direction. We will execute whatever approach is.
Because we do have the study already, correct?
Yes, we do. We have the Fishkind report. So
Okay, thank you.
okay.
So I've got a few, and then we'll go for second approaches. Get back to slide 2, Ephraim, if you don't mind, and then
Which one?
slide 2. There you go.
Okay.
Hey, congratulations on the improved reliability and the reduction in amount of downtime that we've seen year over year from when you picked up the mantle when Mr. Bunch departed, and have kept the trajectory high. And so I'm grateful for that, and congratulations to you and the team.
Thank you.
That said, do I understand right that no rate increase based on maintenance and operations, you're getting enough money to?
So that's what I wanted to, so what we're doing, right, so when we submitted this budget, we finalized it, we submitted it to the city in June, so we submitted and finalized in June, but to get to that submission in June, we finalized all the numbers by March of this year. The rate study was not done. So what we had done was, since I did not know what the expected increases would be to support this increased cost structure, we kept the revenues flat. So in essence, we assumed the projected usage, but I did not want to arbitrarily select an increase on the revenues. But from a conservative standpoint, we baked in our cost for what we're seeing and incurring now, knowing that I have to get the budget approved. I don't have the results of the rate study. That's the step that we're in right now.
So as you stand here now, just for the maintenance and operations part of of your budget, do you have an estimate, a range of what you think your rates will be increasing?
Yes, I do.
Because you've got a really nice, you have an enviable position today, statewide, as the, you know,
Yes.
the vicar of economy.
Yes.
And so,
No, that's a very good question. So right now, what the current proposal is 9.9%, just under 10% in fiscal year 26, 10.8 in fiscal year 27, and 7.6% in fiscal year 28. So yes, it is a higher increase.
those are astounding numbers to me. That's nearly 30% in the next 25 months.
Yes,
Your,
that is.
your town will be on fire. We need to,
Well, and that's-
we need to unpack that.
Yes, and that's where we're going to have a special meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock to discuss these options. We do have some alternative options. But a couple things. I do apologize that I did not communicate more frequently about the increase in rates. We didn't know at the time, since the rate study takes several months, exactly the amount of the increase, but I have been communicating. I wish I would have communicated more frequently on an increase.
Those
So,
figures that you gave, they include your capital plan?
yes,
So that's the combination of, O&M and your CIP plan?
correct, yes, this is
Wow.
everything. So this would, and our long-term plan was, since as Commissioner McGurk had indicated, when do you expect to reap, or when do you expect to complete these projects? It's in the next 5 years. So our longer-term plan was to no more large capital campaigns. Our expectation was to live within our reserves and then the required transfer that I need to do because these projects have been in the works since 2020. But I do understand, we do feel bad. I feel bad, and my team feels bad that it is a substantial increase. So, but even with these increases, we are still within, and that's how we've always looked at it. How do we measure up to our peers? Even with these increases on the electric and water side, we are within the bottom quartile on rates. We are not the lowest anymore, but we are still in the bottom quartile. But I do understand we will be discussing options tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the special meeting.
This budget that you're asking us to approve, does it incorporate these percentage of increases?
Yes, it does.
I'm reluctant to do that. I don't like those increases. I don't know what the options are, and I'm catching it cold.
So
but-
on the maintenance side of it, those costs are real. The capital, that would be reconfigured.
You could
But
stair step those if you wanted to, or if your commission says we want to stair step those.
yes, that's what we would do. So the O&M and maintenance budget, those costs we're seeing today.
Got it.
So we're going to continue to operate consistently with providing the most cost-effective service to our customers. The CIP, to your point, that would be reconfigured to align with the commission's direction on next steps.
That changes the trajectory of what your answer was to Commissioner McGurk's question.
It would, yes, it totally would.
Can you go to slide 3? This purchased power, what does it alone contribute to your budget? What is the add for that on the purchased power? What is it?
It's-
32.
It's about
32.4 is just 2.7 million more.
So-
That's not a big increase.
of our total budget. It is 32 of 74, so it's a third. No, actually more than that. So it's a substantial part
It's
of
a
the
big
total.
piece, yeah, it's a big piece, okay. And that's market, right? You don't get it,
Yeah, it is. It is market, and the consultants that we use from the rate study, that is their expertise looking at the natural gas forward future prices. Now, the item that we have a lever on, let's say on one hand, the natural gas does not increase as fast as what the futures markets are telling us, we will then monitor that, and the lever for us is the fuel and purchase power adjustment that is that we do once a year, but we can do it. Yeah, that is the lever. So if purchase power is lower, we will definitely reduce that and give that back as a credit on the bill.
is this mostly from FP&L or totally from FP&L?
It's 70% of our power is from FPL.
And they've recently gone to the governor to ask for a big rate increase approval, which is in the hopper right now, right?
Correct. Now, just for clarification purposes, this is their unregulated side, so this is their generation side. What they do on their utility side is completely separate from the generation portfolio.
Appreciate that. On to the land out west, following up on Commissioner Perrine's question. How long have you guys owned that land out west? Jason, you remember?
It's been
I think it's going on between 15 and 20 years.
Yeah.
correct.
And so I'm assuming that's a big nut for your commission to try to figure out. I know that Chairman Davenport's been pushing that forward, and there's a great debate on whether it's the right thing or not. You're in the power generation business and you do it well. I'm not sure you're going to be a land developer any better than I would be. Have you considered a public-private partnership where you surrender a lot of stuff and get back a free building, and now you don't own it, you don't own as much as you used to, but you didn't have any expenses on your building, and somebody else could capitalize the high rent spaces?
I think we're open to any option, but those options need to be. Even though we are a utility, we're still governed by the procurement statutes that. Yeah, so that's what we'd have to determine. That's really the commission direction on which option to choose. And then once that option is chosen, we can then evaluate what the procurement, how do I meet the procurement rules?
Gotcha. Thank you for those. To follow up, Commissioner Martin.
Yeah, well, a couple of questions here. First of all, doesn't the over-recovery and under-recovery help to sort of stabilize the price that we charge our customers?
It does as it relates to the price of power.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so if it's unexpectedly low for a certain period of time, we go into an over-recovery period and
Correct.
refund it back.
Yep.
Okay. The grants for the Silver Sands, have they been able to include the connections from the main line to the house?
Yes, it does actually.
Nice. That's great.
Now, the reason why I always caveat that, as much as I'd like to say it's 100% covered, there is no guarantee, because we got the grants based on current estimates today. This is what it would cost in total. Mm-hmm. The intention is that there would be minimal costs to those residents.
Thank you. Then let's see, the rate increase. It seems to me that we need additional infrastructure, and we're sort of making up for many years of concentrating on keeping rates down, but not taking care of the existing and future population. Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement. That transmission loop was in recommendations previously, I believe in 2006.
Okay. And my last question is, have you studied the ROI or the cost-benefit ratio for moving the utility commission operations?
Not a full ROI. If I look at pure moving today, the ROI would not pan out, because the buildings we are currently occupying are owned The free and clear, the maintenance, there could be some synergies on the maintenance and the utilities of that. But to offset, the issue with the western property is just the cost of the site development. The cost of the site development dwarfs the cost of the building because
the
it is
cost
extremely
benefit-
wet.
The cost-benefit ratio really isn't there right now, is that correct?
Correct, and that's where we're open. Well, really, it's at the commission's direction. We are open, and we will execute. Once there's an alignment on an option, we will get it done, assuming that I can meet the legal regulatory hurdles that we would encounter.
Thank you, and again, you all have made such strides in the last few years. You are to be commended.
Thank you. No, it's the support of the team.
Go ahead and continue, sir.
That was everything I had from just from a prepared standpoint.
Perfect. Thanks, Ephraim.
No problem.
Anybody else want to follow up? Yes, Commissioner Ashley.
Just a question to help me understand better. I'm on the forecast report budget FY 2026 combined system. And I'm looking at the column F, full year 2026. And the columns are all the same, but if you go down to number 5, total revenues, electric, water, reclamation, I get that. But then other revenue sources, the R&R contribution, where does that revenue come from?
The renewal and replacement contribution, that is what we're required to contribute of our revenues back into the system. So that's 8% of our
Okay,
revenues.
so if you are contributing that back into the system from your revenues, wouldn't you subtract that from 84 as opposed to adding it to 84?
So without seeing the document, it's just the standard, oh, there you go. Oh, okay. So Julie Adamson, so those aren't our contributions, those are developer fees. I apologize. That's not the that's just fees paid by developers.
So
to
line
us.
7 is
That-
not R&R contribution.
It's we call it renewal and replacement, but it is fees driven from, that's just the name of it, from developers and other sources.
Okay.
So, but it's
So it is not derived from line 5 revenue?
correct. It is
Okay.
not. That's correct. I
Okay.
was mistaken.
Yeah. Because in the body of, in the explanation, it does say that. In the middle of one of those paragraphs, it says that R&R comes from revenue sources. So.
Got it.
But that's not true.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will.
Okay.
Commissioner McGurk.
Well, I guess I don't know if now's
you.
the time, but it seems to be ending it. You made a comment about having a concern about the 27%. It is a huge jump. But there's another perspective of it. Pushing back even further, the timeline concerns me. And here's the way that I see it. I would be reluctant to want to do that. When we lose power, there's two kinds. There's residential and then there's commercial. For residentially, we sit in our house, we're irritated, we're getting hot. It's an inconvenience. But for the business community, especially the restaurants, which we have a lot, it's a huge cost. It will cost me more to have unreliable service or going down than it does to pay the increase. Because if you have restaurants, or just take my scenario, if I'm out of power for between 2 and 4 hours, I've missed the peak time. I have my employees sitting around. They're on the clock. We're waiting. Is the power going to come on? Is it not going to come on? I'm going to send people home. Not send people home. Now, more of the restaurants, they're going to sit there with, depending on when the power goes out, they can't prep their food. So people come in, they want to order at dinner time. The proper food's not ready. Hadn't had time to prep it. Everything from prime rib to whatever they need to do. They also have the problem where they hemorrhage money. Not only are they losing the sales, but they have the cost of the employees and then the cost of the food they lose.
The cost of the goods.
And I can tell you that people may be surprised how much that happens. Getting back online after a storm event, lost sales, gross sales for a day. So I agree 100% that that's a lot of money, and we're going to have a lot of issues with that in the community. But at least on the business side, it's just not convenience. It's the money's actually is more than just the increase. Now, roughly 30%. I got a little 450 square foot building. My utility bill for my business is about $3,200 a month. So we're talking close to $1,000 a month, just under. And I can tell you that as much as that sounds bad, unreliable service hurts me more. And that is, and I'm an ice cream store. So you can imagine what that translates to with a full service restaurant and so on. So I just want to share that reality of we hate to tax the people, and it's a lot. But in the commercial side, it costs actually more than that.
No, and that is everything that we've done since Joe and I started here back in 2019 has been to be proactive as opposed to reactive, implement best practices, industry standards, but not only doing that in the most economical way for us. Because what works in a larger utility or a larger metropolitan area may be a good idea, may not be right for us. So we've tailored these solutions to be in accordance with best practice, adjusted for what makes the most sense for our community. So to your point, we always want it, because pre-2020, it was a break fix. It was reactive. It was the first few years, that's what we were doing, was really just basic blocking and tackling, replacing bad poles that should have been replaced years ago, implementing a vegetation management program. That's where 1/5 of our territory is on a plan, our whole territory is on a plan to be trimmed to minimize the outages. And this capital budget, and I've highlighted in the capital budget, the largest, the water treatment plant, the transmission loop, the subaqueous. We did have an issue last year, I believe. We were, about 6,500 customers were out for 19 hours because of that. We had a failure of one of the lines in a splice pit that was on the just outside of coming up out of the riverbed. One line faulted and sparked over, arced over, fired over, and took out the other one. So all the capital projects that we are recommending are meeting the objectives of ensuring continued high reliability, because our customers do expect it. So for example, with Milton, we were 90% restored in 48 hours, 97% restored in 72, because we know how important it is to provide these services. And our customers expect it, because believe you me, we all get the phone calls. So.
More? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I'm reminded, thank you, Jason, when I sold communication networks, when a client would balk at redundancy, I would just simply ask, if you're down for 2 hours or a day, how much revenue would you lose? At which point, where do I sign for that redundancy? Because when you put it in the context of the revenue loss, it's a lot easier to swallow. The other thing I'd like you to address, and I believe this would be impacted by the rate increase, you return 6% of your revenue to the the city, right? So if your revenue goes up, that's an additional.
Yes,
it is. Additional transfer.
That transfer continues.
Thank you, and would obviously increase. Yeah,
Yes.
because the revenue would go way up. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to look at this a little differently. I know that we have competition to say in Edgewater utility bills compared to ours, and the people there are always saying, we're higher, you're higher. How's this going to land for us?
That's a great question. I have that, I gotta find it.
Julie's got it for you.
Julie's got it, thank you. So what we did was, as part of this meeting that we're having a discussion with tomorrow, so right now, and this is residential customer, but we do have an analysis on commercial. So a bill comparison of 4,000 gallons in water and 1,000 kilowatts, which is a standard profile for a residential customer. Edgewater's right now with FPL, and then of course city-provided water and wastewater. Edgewater's at $249.85. Daytona Beach is at $222.57. They're also FPL. Ormond Beach's proposed water rate increase, or their proposal, $200.30. Ormond Beach's current is $197. Port Orange is $190.48. We would be in 2026 $184.79. So of our immediate peers, for a residential customer perspective, $184. So we are the lowest in this area.
See, and I think that's important because everybody knows that.
Yes.
I mean, I sold real estate a lot of years, and everyone knows Edgewater's higher than here. So that's important to market that as we go.
No, of course.
The
And that's
other-
how we looked at it. And we understand this. We feel bad that this is a good size on our customers and residents, but we'd also try to balance it out on, okay, what happens if these black swan events that occur and I can't restore as fast as I should. And we always want to stay in front. Our plan has always been to stay proactive, stay in front of it so we don't have these surprises.
Okay. The other, I have a few more. So I'm curious to know the net revenue impacts from our growth going out west. If you're doing a 10-year plan, how are you visioning this? Because you said right now, let me go back a little bit so
that's
I'll be
fine.
clear. You made a comment that you didn't know if we could do an ROI with moving your building out west, but that you have an old building that's going to need a lot of repair and maintenance, and the overhead is much higher in an older building than a newer building. The insurance rates alone is huge impact less. So I don't know when you're figuring the ROI, if you're calculating all of that with the expenses that you're going to save by going out west, and could you give us analysis on that?
Yeah, we will. I agree with you, but based on the rough numbers that we have, so right now, the debt service that's in this budget, that of course would be eliminated if we don't get the rate increase. That's $110 million to do the projects that we need to get done. The estimates that we had on just moving our headquarters, fleet and facilities, and field operations, which is water, it was $50 million. So half of that, half of the bond issuance to do projects that I need to do, if I were to do this on our own without any sort of offsets, it's $50 million. So, and mind you, those estimates continually change because costs continually change. But based on how we looked at this, because that's how we've sliced and diced it, that's where it's hard. When I have $110 million of projects that are directly related to electric and water, it's hard to come to the customers because that's really the base. Unless there is a unique, situation that I can get approved and get commission direction on, that it can then pass the purchasing regulatory implications. If I don't have another source, I would have to raise rates again just for that.
So I guess I'm going to go at this a different way. Our economic development director gave us an estimate of what our property tax revenue is going to be from the Deering Park alone. And, it's going to take a few years to get that off and running, but do you have any idea how that's going to impact your budget?
So what we've factored the growth as it relates to treatment of water into our projections, because we have a 20-year consumption use permit for our water. From the electric side, it's really just extending the wires and setting up either another substation or a transformer. So that has been factored into these capital projections, as we are required to service as they set up within our territory.
Can we have another joint meeting soon to just look at your numbers on all this? Because from
As
my
far as it
last
relates to the
recollection-
Western
the
utility?
building, yeah.
No, that's fine.
Because the last one we had, we were kind of focused on the septic to sewer, and we haven't had an update on all of this. I'd love to see those numbers and analyze your ROIs.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Anybody else? I got a couple following up on Commissioner Perrine's comments. I'm concerned, a couple things, two, and then I think that'll be enough. The communication plan for just a 30% increase in 25 months has got to be amazing and superior to anything else we may have seen. I think it would negate any opportunity to move out west, because the speculation will be they're preparing to move out west and they're doing it on our backs. So I don't think I think you'll kill the western move with this 30% increase, because people are going to speculate what it is. And you're going to have to be really good about getting the word out. And we try hard as a city to get it out, and we fall short time and again. So that's going to be tough. Procedurally for us, I'm a little worried we've got maybe the cart before the horse. He's going to have a workshop with his group tomorrow, the commission. Commissioner Conrad is here, and she can report this. I'd prefer not to vote today. I'd prefer to allow the commission, who studies power all the time, and they know this business much closer than we do, and allow them to work from over and to figure out whether this is what he's really going to do, or whether they're going to slide it out. And they'll have heard the business representative here on the dais say, "Hey, make sure you don't, take this into consideration." I would imagine the same thing for priority zones occurs for your hospital, your police and fire, and our restaurants and businesses. Anyway, I think we're a meeting ahead. That's my personal view. We can do it in any kind of motion you want us to do, and the city attorney's going to slap me for making this, but I'm worried that we're ahead of it. I'd prefer to let them do their meeting, and then we do what we're going to do. Yes, ma'am.
So we're not voting tonight.
Oh,
This
good.
is just a first reading.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, that's my opinion. I would, what your meeting's tomorrow, 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
All right,
yes.
very good. And I'll be anxious to see how you guys go about it. I'm just, Ephraim, I trust you, and that you guys have done so many good things to beat down what Commissioner McGurk is talking about the amazingly devastating cost to our restaurants and businesses when they lose spoilage, labor waste, loss of revenue, all that stuff rolls up hugely.
No, of
but
course.
the 30% increase is going to get a lot of people's attention, and it has me concerned. I'm delighted that even with that, we're still in the bottom quartile, but you're number 2 in the state, and then you'll be like, I looked at a chart, I thought you were going to be closer to the middle of the pack.
No, on the electric side, it was about 6. We'd go, and mind you, that's on today's numbers as of June. As other utilities, because we've all encountered we do have, of course, the debt service related to this bond issuance, but we know all the other utilities that have not yet increased will have to, because they're running under the same cost structure issues that we've run into. So as they change, our position would move. And ideally, it would go, even come back down. Maybe not to second, but it would come down.
Very
So
good.
but one thing I do want to say is whatever we will, based on the commission direction and the special meeting that we have, we are prepared to look at some options and go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, sir, for your report. Appreciate that. Public participation is now open. Is there any member of the public wish to speak on this topic? Please come forward. You'll be heard for 3 minutes.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Yes, point of,
If you just refresh my memory, what's happening tomorrow with the,
it's a workshop with the commission, with the utility commission in their chambers,
Okay.
3 o'clock,
Okay,
to
and then
discuss
from-
this budget.
from that workshop, do we get a report after that?
We'll,
The reason I'm asking is
Yeah.
because, this being my first experience with this, going through the entire budget, from the first 10 paragraphs to every single line item, I have a lot of questions. And I just asked you one tonight, one. And it didn't appear to be what it was supposed to be.
so I can meet with you, we can meet with you separately to go through the detail. But we are covering a lot of this detail.
I would like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to, if you guys are confident with this line, all these numbers, great, but if, you want us to be allies, so I want to be an ally, but I got to understand what's going on here, and I don't.
No, that's perfectly fine. You can attend
It's going to be a
tomorrow.
long meeting.
No, that's perfectly fine. So what I would recommend is coming tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and you'll get a lot of information just from that.
Fine. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
But then we can meet
Here-
afterwards.
Or,
No,
In their
it's going to
chamber
be.
over across the street.
okay,
Okay.
3 o'clock.
Yep.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else from the public? Public participation is now closed. Thank you very much, Mr. Chavez, for all your work and for answering all our questions. Let's move on to public hearing to be conducted for the adoption of ordinance 4225, which is adopted, would change the stormwater fee from $104 to $125 per equivalent drainage unit, an EDU. Madam City Attorney.
Ordinance number 4225, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 82 Utilities, Article 6, Stormwater Utility, Section 82200, Imposition of Utility Fees and Rate Schedule, to increase the stormwater utility fee from $104 per equivalent drainage unit to $125 per equivalent drainage unit, providing for codification, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. I see the finance director is in the batter's box. We're anxious for your report, Joe, as soon as Sharon and you figure out what you want to do with the PowerPoint.
There we go. Okay, I have some background information that it pertains to all the ordinances and resolutions we're going to discuss tonight, so I'll start with that, and then we'll get into each ordinance and resolution, if that's okay? Or, no?
I think we should do this ordinance first, and then
Okay.
on the next ones, do them all together.
Sure, okay. Okay. Ordinance 42-25 outlines the proposed changes to the city's stormwater utility rate. Currently, the rate stands at $104 per EDU. Under the fiscal year 2026 city manager's proposed budget, this rate would increase to $125 per EDU with an annual adjustment of 3% or CPI, whichever is greater thereafter. This fee increase is an important step in funding the construction, maintenance, and improvement of the city's stormwater management system. It will provide the resources needed to manage stormwater, reduce flooding, protect water quality, and improve resilience against severe weather. The estimated revenue from this rate adjustment is $3.56 million annually, which is an increase of $600,000 over the current year's budget. To implement this change, the city's code of ordinance must be amended. And the first reading of this ordinance was held on July 22nd. Tonight marks the second reading. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Will they vote on this ordinance at this time?
Yeah, this is the second reading and public hearing.
Okay,
Um,
you got it. Thank you. That's it?
Yes.
Okay, very
Sorry.
good. Any questions from the commission? So this is an increase. I think Commissioner Martin started this from 104 to 125. It's the biggest deal in town, and so some planned events in stormwater in all these sections are most appropriate and probably late to the date. So is it enough? Is it the right number?
Are you asking that question right now?
From
Okay.
somebody
Yes.
that knows some stuff, that'd be you.
Well, we think that this is probably a start for stormwater. We know that we have immense stormwater needs going forward. We know that we are doing the planning that is necessary in order for us to determine exactly what we need to be doing. My expectation is that when we complete all of those plans, that the numbers will be quite big and that we will have to look at a variety of funding sources, including stormwater fees, state sources, federal sources, and so on. So the answer to your question is we think this is enough for today to get us through the next year, maybe the next couple of years, but as our stormwater plans come into focus, I'm anticipating that there will be additional funding requests.
So, Mr. Manager, we may see a surplus at the end of the year. This stuff may not be spent off because the plan is not yet complete, but eventually it'll catch up and we'll spend this and much, much more.
Yes, and we'll spend a lot of this in the next year with what we have budgeted, the various projects that we have budgeted.
Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Okay, the public hearing is open. If there are any citizens who wish to speak on this particular topic of stormwater fund, please come forward and you'll be heard. Seeing none, public participation is closed. Is there a motion to adopt 4225?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call a roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes, 4225 has been adopted. Thank you very much. And now Resolution 2625, which if adopted would approve a tentative New Smyrna Beach operating millage rate for fiscal year 26. Director Drury.
To begin tonight's presentation, I'd like to provide a brief overview of the budget process and highlight key elements of the proposed budget. Following that, I'll walk through each ordinance, resolution for your consideration. I'll go back here. There we go. This budget was built upon the strategic priorities established by both the city manager and the commission. While it supports all 9 priorities, special emphasis has been placed on 3 key areas: building a transparent, high-performing organization focused on customer service, maintaining the health and safety of our neighborhoods, enhancing the function and appearance of existing infrastructure. Using these priorities as a foundation, we developed a set of key financial assumptions to guide the budget framework. Departments then created zero-based budgets, ensuring that every dollar was justified from the ground up. A series of meetings were held with the city manager to review departmental requests, and through careful evaluation, the budget was refined to align with both strategic goals and fiscal responsibility. Several public meetings followed to ensure transparency and community engagement opportunity. On July 10th, we held a budget workshop where the proposed budget was presented in detail, covering both fund level and department level allocations. Commissioners provided feedback and raised questions on several key items, including proposed millage rates, stormwater fees, marina dock rates, and future budget considerations. The Commission reconvened on July 22nd to take further action and refine the budget, and during that session, the maximum operating millage rate was set at 4.637 mils, which is the same as the current year. The maximum voted debt millage rate for Turnbull Creek was set at 0.1115 mils, and the first reading of the ordinance that was just adopted was heard. These amounts were authorized for inclusion on the trim notices that were mailed to property owners in August. Then on August 10th, we held another workshop to revisit earlier discussions and focus on key updates. We reviewed the changes between the fiscal year 2025 adopted budget of $139 million, the fiscal year 2025 amended budget of $203 million, and the fiscal year 2026 city manager's proposed budget of $199 million. We also provided updates on the general fund, debt service funds, and capital projects. So after months of planning, collaboration, and public engagement, we've reached a significant milestone tonight, the first of 2 public hearings on the fiscal year 2026 budget and the millage rates as required by the Florida statutes. The proposed budget is balanced at $199.5 million, reflecting a 2% decrease from the current fiscal year. Key highlights of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget include an operating millage rate that remains unchanged at 4.637 mils. The budget includes 6 new positions in public works, 4 foremen, 1 each for streets, parks, facilities, and stormwater, plus a dedicated street sweeper and a GIS technician to support expanded services and technology integration. The budget also includes 1 new position in capital projects focused on advancing the city's natural resource management and environmental stewardship. Target reserve balances are fully budgeted, meeting the Commissioner's goals for maintaining rainy day funds, except for the building and inspections funds, which remains below target. The budget includes a planned borrowing of $5.5 million to support land conservation efforts in the Turnbull Creek area, which is consistent with the voter-approved initiative from 2019. The budget also includes a millage rate of 0.1115 mils to fund the existing debt on Turnbull Creek as well as the future borrowing. The budget includes a stormwater increase fee from $104 to $125 per EDU to support stormwater capital projects and enhance operational efficient capacity. And the budget includes an increase in marina dockage fees applicable to both residents and non-resident annual rentals for floating docks and fixed docks. So with that overview, we'll walk through the resolutions that support implementation of the fiscal year 2026 budget. So the first resolution, 26-25, proposes maintaining the current operating millage rate at 4.637 mils for fiscal year 2026. This rate supports the city's general fund operations, aligns with the Commission's strategic priorities, and supports the city manager's recommended budget. Total ad valorem taxes to be levied at this rate are estimated at $34.9 million. Of that, we've budgeted 95%, or $33.2 million as anticipated revenue. This includes $31.5 million for the general fund and $1.7 million for your community redevelopment agency. A final public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2026 operating millage rate will be held on September 23rd at 6:30.
Thank you, ma'am. That's your report?
Yes.
Appreciate that. Questions from my colleagues, Commissioner Perrine.
Go back 1 page, if you would, to the marina dock fees increases. After tonight's information that we received from the Utilities Commission, from my recall, which is limited on Rob's spreadsheet, I don't think we increased all of the electric. Will that make an impact where we're going to have to always be catching up if they have that 30% increase, since we didn't touch the electric portion?
Rob, do you want to address the electric? Is it a pass-through? Sorry, I'm not,
Use a flat rate.
It looked low to me, so I know they weren't very happy with us already, but if we have to increase it next year because of a 30% increase, they're going to not be happy with us
Sure.
next year as well.
So what we try to do with the rate increase for this fiscal and the fiscal increase for 27 was to include enough increase to address the anticipated utilities increase as well. So that's built into what we've forecasted.
Did you build that much in, that high
Yeah,
of an
it
increase?
should be enough
Very
to cover.
good. Thank you. I had heart failure when I saw that. Thank you.
Good point. Any other questions for my colleagues? Commissioner Martin?
Yeah, what I'm looking at is that revenue from the utilities. And could you tell us how much it was this year, for this fiscal year?
Chili's.
We know who has the
Yes.
answer. Shalisa will be with us in a moment.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious, of course, the difference that it would be from this year to what it would be next year with the proposed rate increases at the Utilities Commission. Because I would assume that it would be a substantially higher number.
Yes, we received the number from the Utility Commission, so we used information they provided us.
Do I understand, do you know whether that included their proposed rate increase?
I do not. I would have to follow up.
Okay.
I'm not sure on the timing.
It's a
how
huge,
far-
as we know, it's a
Yeah.
big bump.
Yeah.
So it would also then be a big bump for the city.
Correct.
We'll get that number to you, Commissioner. All right, any other questions? Thank you, ma'am, appreciate that.
We'll get you the other answer when Shalisa's finished looking it up.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2625?
So moved.
A motion,
Second?
and a second. Any further follow-up discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call a roll.
Commissioner Perine,
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes,
Thank you.
2625 has been adopted. Thank you so much. Shalisa, you found it.
I found
Of course you
it.
did.
So it's about $3.6 million right now.
3.6 million for this year. Thank you so much.
So we're going to move on to Resolution 2725, which if adopted would adopt the tentative New Smyrna INS rate for 2018 maximum millage rate. Director Drury, you can continue if you don't mind.
Thank you. The proposed rate for the voted debt millage rate for Turnbull Creek is 0.1115 mils, representing an increase of 0.022 mils over the current year's rate. This adjustment is necessary to meet the city's debt service obligations for Turnbull Creek land conservation efforts. For fiscal year 2026, the debt service is approximately $1 million, comprised of $610,000 for the existing $9.5 million bond that was issued in 2019, and an additional $418,000 for the new bond issue of $5.5 million that's planned for next fiscal year. The debt service fund does have $228,000 available in it, so the city must collect approximately $800,000 in voted debt property tax revenue to cover the remaining principal and interest due. The proposed rate would result in levied taxes of approximately $840,000, and we've budgeted that at 95%, so about $798,000. This funding ensures that the city can continue its commitment to land conservation in the Turnbull Creek area, consistent with the voter-approved initiative from 2019. A final public hearing to adopt this voter debt service millage rate will be held on September 23rd at 6:30.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Any questions for the Finance Director? Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2725?
So,
Got a motion?
second.
And 3 seconds. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perine,
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley,
Yes?
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes, 2725 is adopted. And now on to Resolution 2825, which if adopted would set the tentative New Smyrna Beach budget for fiscal year 25-26. Joe, please continue.
Thank you. As mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, this budget reflects months of planning, collaboration, public engagement, and is designed to support the city's strategic priorities while maintaining fiscal responsibility. The budget is allocated across many funds, and I'll read the percentages. General fund, $76.6 million. That's about 38% of the budget. Capital project funds, $44.5 million, about 22% of your budget. Impact fee funds, which are used for capital as well, $22.7 million, or 11% of your budget. Sanitation fund, $12.9 million, or 7% of the budget. Stormwater fund, $8.3 million, or 4% of the budget. Your CRA, $10.2 million at 5% of the budget. Airport fund, $5.9 million, or 3%. Parking fund, $5.5 million, or 3%. Building and inspection fund, $3.9 million, which is 2% of the proposed budget. Debt service funds, $3.3 million, which is about 2% as well. The Brannan Center, Golf Course, Marina, Fleet, and other special revenue funds each account for less than 1% of the total budget individually. Combined, these funds total approximately $5.7 million, representing 3% of the overall proposed budget. A final public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget will be held on September 23rd at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your report. Any questions for the Director Jury? I have one. What was general fund last year?
I'll ask Shaliza to pull up that number.
So right now we have amended 77 million.
77 million for the year of execution that we're in right now.
Correct.
And we're not done.
And we're not done yet.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Joe, if your track record is 1 year in now and you've reduced the budget from this year to next year by about 3%, if you'll just keep doing that as the clock ticks, we'll be in great shape with our residents and the city accounting. Thank you for that. Thank you for the report. Anybody else? Okay, is there a motion to adopt resolution 2825?
So moved.
Second. We have a second.
Second?
Very good. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Martin,
Yes?
Commissioner Perrine,
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley,
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for your report, Joe. Is that it for you? Very good.
That's it. Here are our next steps, and
Perfect.
September 23rd is final public hearing.
We'll come to that. Perfect. Closing remarks, Commissioner Martin, Vice Mayor.
Well, I'd like to say that last year's budget was really challenging and hard to understand. This year's budget was a quantum leap forward, and I expect next year's budget will be easy to understand. And I would like to thank Jo Drury and her staff for making this happen. Thank you.
Commissioner McGurk.
I want to echo that. I will tell you that all my time up here, I think that the way you're handling it, the way you're doing it this year has been the easiest, the most fluid way to understand and the budget since my time on the dais. So I'm very happy with it, and please keep it up, and great job.
Commissioner Perrine.
I just want to add Mr. Cowper to that list because when we interviewed him, I drilled him immensely on budgets because it was a little bit of a heartburn before. So many thanks to both of you for an easier year this year.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Commissioner Ashley.
I just want to say thank you. My meetings with you, Kevin, and you, Joe, have been really very helpful for me, and I appreciate it, so thanks.
So to conclude, I've not seen so much glee in the manager as when he told me about his newest hire, the finance director, that they think alike and operate together in synchronicity is a real bonus to the city. So thank you very much. What I really like is that you have made it, I didn't like last year, the year before, because this is all, government budgeting is not unfamiliar to me, I know it well, but how we did it here, I went to Commissioner Ashley's predecessor and McGurk and said, hey, how'd you do it last year and the year before? And it was different every year, so I certainly appreciate the stability. What I really liked is that you captured the entire amount of the budget and put it in a box. It has a category. So while a paltry look would say, oh my gosh, we went from barely over a $100 million budget to a $200 million budget, not the case. We've always had that money. You've just appropriately put it into the right buckets, which include our massive reserves. So thank you for that. And for the record, if any of you are watching or view this tape, there are a total of 5 residents in the room. Just to show you the amount of angst and interest from the public, this is not unusual. This city has been financially responsible for decades, and so that tradition continues under Director Jury. So thank you for that. Without anything else, Mr. Manager, any closing remarks, sir?
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're adjourned.